November's finally here. It's the best time of the year in the whitetail woods, so we're pretty excited to be in a stand this morning. We're in a new spot on what we call the pasture farm. We talked about it a little bit on the podcast. If you listen to that, you kind of heard us talk about it. We were out here scouting about a week ago, saw some fresh grapes and stuff. I came and hung this set yesterday, saw some fresh rubs over by the pond next to me. So I know they've been using it a little bit. The cool thing about being in a new spot is I just set cameras up yesterday as well. I have no idea what's here, so there could be a giant running around in here, and they might not be anything. It could be all young bucks, so that's kind of exciting to be on a spot where you never know what might show up. And especially this time of year where that could be the case anyway. This is just a little 10-acre piece. It sits in the middle of a pretty good funnel, so most of it is pasture ground. That's obviously why we call it the pasture farm, but there is some timber back in here in front of me where I'm at, and it runs down along the west side of our property here. So the deer do use it to travel. I know that. I'm just not sure what kind of deer. Hopefully we'll find out this morning. It's pretty foggy. It's not cold, but it's not hot either. It's 45, 46. It is supposed to get warm today, back up to 72, but hopefully it'll be a good morning. Gonna do some rattling. I think they do bed a few hundred yards from here, so see if we can get anything up on their feet that way. But November 1st, so we're excited to be in a tree. So it's the evening of November 1st now. Didn't end up seeing any deer this morning, but now we're in here on the Fry property. So I'm sitting over this food plot that you guys watched us, followed along with us all summer, back from the spring when we put it in. I got in late today, but it was like 73 degrees or something. I was sweating coming up into the stand, so didn't miss out on anything. And I actually had to wait to do this part of it as well, just because where the sun was at with the leaves off this persimmon tree is pretty brutal now. So the reason I'm in here is because we haven't seen any daylight activity from any of our shooters on the other properties. We haven't seen anything at all here, but I do have some historical data to show that this is potentially a good spot for this evening. At least 2 out of the last 3 years, I've had good bucks on this piece on either Halloween or the 1st. Somewhere in that 2-3 day range. So that's kind of the reason we're in here. Don't have high expectations coming in. Got about an hour left now. Still haven't saw the first deer, so it is cooling off a little bit with the sun going down, so maybe they'll get on their feet early. Really just looking for one to be cruising through here, checking for does. We do know there's that doe family that's still living in here, so maybe we'll catch one just before dark. So we're just getting settled in here on the evening of November 2nd, up here at the North Farm. I haven't hunted this much. I'm actually in my favorite sit up here for the rut, so it is hot. It's like 72 degrees, but back here in the woods, it's a little cooler. I actually jumped a buck out of here on the way in, which sucks because they never bed in here in the fall, but it kind of does make sense today. As hot as it is, it's just not real thick in here, so the wind moves through, and he's got plenty of shade in here, so he might have just been laying in here because it's cool. But either way, I don't know necessarily that he knows I'm here to hunt him, or if he just thinks I'm one of the farmers walking around. I'm not overly concerned about it because I haven't hunted him that much. I've only been up here a couple times this year, and I have not been in this woods. And last year, I didn't spook a deer on this place, especially a mature buck. So we'll see. Maybe he'll come back in. The other good news is there's like 3 different shooters up around here. 2 for sure, maybe 1 more I got pictures of this morning at around 4:30. I'd like to see him just to make sure he's a mature buck. It looks like he's got a decent rack on him. Hopefully one of those comes through. This is the only place I've been getting decent action on the cameras. which is part of the reason I haven't been in here, which may not make a lot of sense. It sounds a little contradictory, but I've been trying to leave this alone because they're going to use it a lot this time of year over the next 2 weeks or so. So now is when I'm really going to start getting in here. I've left them alone so I can get in here this time of year. Unfortunately, like I said, ran that one buck out, but because I haven't been in here messing with him too much, it might not have hurt that bad. Again, especially this time of year where if he gets on a hot doe, he's going to forget all about what just happened there. So I got a good win for this stand. It's, again, not quite borderline, but I'm giving them just a little bit like I talked about the other day there at the cabin. So it's actually supposed to be even more in my favor at the time the evening gets later. So we'll see. Like I said, got a few shooters in here. I don't know if that was one of them that I ran out. He looked like a decent buck, but maybe we'll get something to come through. I pulled the card on the camera down there. I'll look through it. If there's anything worth looking at, I'll show you on there. Basically, the way this spot sets up is it is one of the only 2 blocks of timber on this entire 160. There's a ditch that runs through the middle of it, and it filters up right through these blocks of timber and then runs over here west of the neighbor's property where I think they do bed some. So it's a really good spot for the rut to catch the bucks cruising. Occasionally they do bed in the other smaller block across from me. Like I said, normally they don't bed in here, but the does will bed over there some. So it's generally a good spot for the rut. This hot weather, I don't know. At some point they're going to have to move in the daylight, even though it's hot, because it's been hot for a while. It's going to be hot for the next week. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get something to come through here. See another deer. It is dead quiet right now, so I'm gonna make this as short as possible. I got another 15 minutes maybe. It's been pretty slow again, but has to be expected with the weather we're having. Maybe something will come strolling by in the next 10 minutes or so. If it does, I'll get some video of it. If it's a shooter, hopefully I can put an arrow through it, but if not, thanks for checking it out, guys. I'll try to keep posting these as often as I can, so that way you guys can follow along. I know Nate's going to try to get started hunting here in the next few days. He's had a lot going on, so maybe I can get him to do this, maybe not. We'll see.